No is one of the shortest words in the English language. It's a simple syllable, but it carries immense weight. Yet despite its power, it's often one of the hardest words to say. We fear disappointing others, or potential judgments, that will be seen as difficult or uncooperative, so we start to over-explain, or apologize for something that requires no apology. But saying no isn't about rejecting another person. It's a vital act of protecting your own mental health. Boundaries are invisible lines that define where I end and you begin. They safeguard your emotions, and without them, we become overwhelmed by the demands of others. We lose sight of our own needs and excessively sacrifice to try and please everyone else. Saying no is a form of respecting your true self, your values, and your priorities. In fact, you can think of saying no as a positive affirmation, a statement of your self-worth and self-respect. When you say no without guilt, without the need to over-explain or apologize, you open the door to a more authentic, empowered life. Boundaries are the personal limits we set in relationships, guidelines for what's okay and what's not. Healthy boundaries lead to better relationships. They reduce conflict and resentment, promote higher self-esteem, and help give us more energy for what matters. For example, telling a friend you're unavailable after 9 p.m. isn't rejection, it's prioritizing your health. Boundaries aren't selfish, they're self-care. Boundaries exist on a spectrum ranging from non-existent boundaries on one end all the way to rigid boundaries on the other end. But these are two extremes of boundary setting, each with their own set of challenges and problems. Non-existent boundaries involve saying yes, even when your inner voice is screaming no. They involve excessively prioritizing others' needs over your own. But saying yes in these situations often leads to feelings of resentment or being taken advantage of. On the other end, you have rigid boundaries, which are like walls, impenetrable and inflexible. These keep everyone out and can lead to isolation. While they might feel safe, rigid boundaries get in the way of genuine connection and intimacy. The goal is to set healthy boundaries, which are the sweet spot in the middle of these two extremes. Healthy boundaries are like a fence with a gate you control that allows you to choose who and what you let in. With healthy boundaries, you can say no without guilt, protecting your time and energy, and say yes, when appropriate, to ensure your involvement with others is in line with your values and preferences. Most of us, though, have a mix of different boundary styles. For example, we may have overly rigid boundaries at work and non-existent boundaries with family or friends. Awareness is the key, recognizing your particular boundary patterns. The goal is to try to be less of a sponge on one hand and less of a wall on the other. Find your middle ground. There are 4 different types of boundaries we can have: physical, cognitive, behavioral, and emotional. Physical boundaries involve our body and personal space. They dictate who can touch us or our possessions and how close they can get, like saying, "I'm not a hugger." It's about asserting your comfort and right to your personal space. Cognitive boundaries protect your thoughts and beliefs. They're about shielding your mind from negativity and staying true to your principles. Like the old saying, if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything. Anytime you disengage from discussions that disturb your core beliefs, or you openly express your thoughts and ideas, you are practicing healthy cognitive boundaries. Behavioral boundaries are the limits you place on yourself and your own actions. It's the extent to which your actions stay in line with your values, or if you are violating these boundaries that you've set for yourself and act contrary to your values and feel regrets. Emotional boundaries are about separating your feelings from others. This prevents you from overly absorbing the emotions of those around you. You're not responsible for fixing other people's emotions. It's about recognizing that you can offer support, but not excessively take on the responsibility of their feelings. Noticing when you feel drained or resentful in any of these 4 areas are valuable indicators that you need to set a boundary in that situation. Pay attention to these signals and respond accordingly. No one has perfect boundaries all the time. We all slip up and make mistakes in these 4 areas. Boundary setting is a skill we need to practice over time. Start small and begin communicating your boundaries gently but firmly. Saying no is an act of self-respect, not selfishness. It's about honoring your needs and priorities. Find your no,